I'm Erica, and I became involved with Living Alternatives about 10 years ago. My husband and I were trying to have children, and we were unable to do so. I had never had any children. My husband had had children from a previous marriage, but I had never had any children and desperately wanted a child to raise from birth. We had heard about Living Alternatives and knew that that the miracle of adoption was for us. I think the thing that made the most difference to us was that it was a Christ-centered organization. We believe very strongly in life and are very much pro-life, and wanted a place that was going to work with girls to help save babies' lives. The other thing is that they didn't just save babies' lives, they saved mothers' lives. Our adoption journey took us to we had seven different possibilities, some small, some big, and they walked with us through each of those. One day, about 2 weeks before our son was born, we got a call from Greta saying, "I think that there is a birth mother who would like to meet you." And it turns out that 2 weeks later, she gave birth. And so we didn't have much time to get ready, but we had our nursery set up. We were ready on that end, but it was sort of a shock to our system that we had 2 weeks from the time we met her to the time that she delivered. Once all the paperwork had been signed and he was really ours, I remember walking into church because I think we came home from the hospital like on a Tuesday, and so we took him to church on Wednesday. And there were people that met us at the door and were so excited to share our joy and to see our son, and it was a precious moment. So our son is now 7. Not long before Christmas this past year, I was reading him a story before bed, and he, out of the blue, said, "Mom, are you my real mom?" So then that led to a conversation about him being adopted, and so that's when he found out. About, I'd say probably 3 or 4 weeks later is when the baby bottle campaign kicked off. So I came home with the bottles and sat down at lunch and said, "All right, you guys, the bottles are here." Well, Isaiah didn't really know what that was all about. And so he wanted to know, and so I talked to him about, this is what the baby bottle campaign is about, and we save our change, and we put our change in these bottles, and then we give it to Living Alternatives, and then they use that money to help babies, to help save babies. And he said, "Babies like me?" And I said, "Absolutely, babies like you. You know, someday at some point, somebody gave their baby bottle money, and it helped when it came time for you to be born." And so he immediately stood up from the table, and he went and he got his jar of money, which is where he keeps all of his money. And he said, "Well, I'm filling mine now." And he opened up the baby bottle and he poured all of the money that he had into his bottle and said, "This is my bottle that I'm giving to help babies like me." I think that they need to hear thank you, and not just a cursory thank you, but a truly heartfelt thank you. Because without the volunteers at Living Alternatives, without the people who run Living Alternatives, without the people who donate, our family would not be complete. And we are eternally grateful for their sacrifice, for their dedication, and for their love for the Lord. And that's made all the difference to us.